Good morning, friends. Welcome to a morning time in New York edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys, I am a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from the police perspective, consider hitting that subscribe button somewhere over here. Hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. And today we're going to talk about the DCYF report. The report that we have all been speaking about came out on Friday, yesterday. But before we get into that report, because we're going to talk about other cases like Summer Wells, the boys in California City, and Serenity McKinney, I want to say thank you. Thank you sincerely to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks like yourself who subscribe to this great community. I want to personally thank you, each and every one of you, for your time, your effort, the engagement, the leaving of the comments, whether they are good or bad or indifferent. As long as they're respectful, I don't mind those comments. I'm always open to constructive criticism. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who takes out the time to send me articles, to send things to me. And it brings me to this next point. We had our retired DCYF worker come on and hang out with us. Heather was brave enough to come live and speak to us. I didn't want to bombard her with a ton of extra questions that I did want to ask her. I wanted to really ask her a lot of really tough questions, but I didn't want to scare her off. So there's a method to my madness. I didn't necessarily ask her all the questions that we wanted to have asked right away because I wanted her to come back and I want her to be able to feel comfortable and not attacked. So I hope you guys understood. You might not have understood it at the time, but I want to build a relationship with folks like her so I can learn and find out some of the things that are going on so we can intelligently speak about it. So I hope you guys get that. Let me quickly say hi to all my friends. Dawn Marie is here. Richella Pranzo is here saying hello. Mary Glick, MJ, Jolene. There's my good friend Jolene, who is relentless with helping me with research and things of that nature. So, Jolene, thank you for everything that you do for Crime Time with DutyRon. Betty LeBlanc, good to see you, Betty. And Nikki is here. Pippa Dot. Tara Ellis. I like to highlight some of the great folks that are here. Good morning, Connie. I do this on Saturdays and Sundays where it's a little bit more laid back than what we would normally do. So I think it's important that we say hello to everyone. Hello, Susina from Italia. Good to see you. Viva Italia. Great to see you. Buongiorno. Come stai? Bene. Molto bene. Ciao. Sis Love, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Debbie Patrick is here. Janine Goodwin, of course. Good to see you, Janine. Teresa, Brenda, Hodge the Brute. Hodge the Brute's here. Diane, Beverly Russell. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Maria is here. Thanks, guys. Greatly appreciated. All right. So let me just set up a couple of quickies here. If I missed you, I'm going to get into some more hellos and thank yous down the line here. So this is a WMUR 9 news report. We heard Governor Sununu. I call him a clown, and I'm calling him a clown because he's got a long history, and so does all the politicians from both sides of the aisle, both the Republicans and Democrats. They talk a good game. Politicians do one thing really good, and it's lying to the general public. Politicians do one thing good, and that is lying to you and I, the taxpayers. And it's not just here in America. It happens all across the globe. So, I mean, by a show of hands, who is somewhat in agreement? I mean, I'm 57 going on 58 years old. I've been lied to by politicians my whole entire adult life. They're clowns. They're jagaloons. You see this jagaloon sign? It should say, attention politicians, you are a bunch of jagaloons. They make promises and they never follow through with it. Think about if your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, think about if your significant other was to make promises to you and never follow through. That's how relationships break up, right? That's what these politicians specialize in. All right, let's go to it.
An internal DCYF investigation, like the one that is currently happening in the case of Harmony Montgomery, is not unusual, according to Moira O'Neill, head of the Office of the Child Advocate. They're actually known as critical incident reviews.
So it may be the death of...
Anybody see this woman's face and are familiar with the hogwash that she spews out? And listen, I'm just voicing my opinion here, guys. I think that I've heard enough from this woman, and it's just garbage. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it.
Of a child, it may be a missing child, it may be a child who...
Incident reviews.
So it may be the death of a child, it may be a missing child, it may be a child who's been absconded, it may be a parent death, or a serious injury. And there's also one that's called a media event.
A briefing obtained by News 9 Investigates shows that a critical incident review looks into DCYF's immediate response to determine the subject child, if alive, is safe, siblings and family are safe, and resources have been activated and immediate needs are understood and met. O'Neill says she understands whenever there is a high-profile case such as Harmony's, there's a public need for information.
Obviously, we're all going to have an emotional response to a beautiful small child who's missing for 2 years. It's incomprehensible.
But she adds strict federal and state laws prevent the release of specific details to not only protect the child, but also the integrity of the police investigation.
When it's time and the police investigation is completed, if we find information that we think that the public would be in their interest to know, we'll certainly share that information.
So she's just reading from a script of what her upper bosses have been telling her. I know how government runs. I know how the public sector runs. And she's got things that she can say and things that she can't say. But we're gonna see a couple of other reports that go a little bit different. But here's the rest of this.
And tonight, no new updates from Manchester police on the search for little Harmony, but they tell us her case remains their top priority.
So again, it's the top priority because now we don't know where she is, right? They're reacting to their up. And guess what? In my book, this gets a big ho.
Oh, hell no.
And I'm not going to sit here and just accept and take that force feeding of the narrative and garbage. They screwed up from the top to the bottom, both in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. The judge should be reprimanded for allowing Adam Montgomery to have custody of his child. Now, granted, the judge couldn't predict that Adam was going to be homeless and living out of his car, because at the time, he had to probably have proved that he had a home or a place for his daughter to stay in. But we don't know that. They didn't tell us if they verified if he had a stable residence. You know, there's so much that there's so many questions that are unanswered in regards to Harmony Montgomery. Let's just take a peek at this one. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Oh, yeah, it is. All right. Let me get this queued up for you. This is just a different angle, but I want you guys to see this nonetheless. Hold on.
Left so many people searching for answers. The new details tonight on a case that's left so many people searching for answers. The New Hampshire governor's office recommending systematic changes following the disappearance of little Harmony Montgomery. NBC 10's Michael Rosenfield shares the timeline revealed tonight.
According to a new report conducted by the state of New Hampshire, Harmony Montgomery's case began in December of 2018 when Massachusetts asked New Hampshire child welfare authorities to conduct a home study on Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, who was living with his wife, Kayla, and 2 children in Manchester. But before the study was completed, a judge in Massachusetts awarded custody of Harmony to Adam 2 months later. It's unknown why the judge made that decision. An investigation in Massachusetts is taking place. According to the New Hampshire report, an anonymous call led New Hampshire child welfare workers to visit the family multiple times between July and October of 2019. Those caseworkers reported the children seemed happy and healthy. They They were told a black eye on Harmony's face had resulted from playing with her siblings. In January of 2020, when
So let me ask you this. As a caseworker, an investigator, if you get an anonymous call and says that the child has a black eye, you don't see it, but you see on the subsequent report that there's blood, red blood on the inside of the eye, in the white of the eye. You don't at that point say that there's a problem and you don't do any further investigating. You just take the word of Adam Montgomery and Kayla. There's something wrong here. And you have to look at the history. You know, DCYF and all workers, all social workers, case workers across the country should have access to criminal history. Now, let me put myself on. This is important because I know that they don't do this. If you go out and do a home visit, just as I did in the warrant squad when I hunted down evil, I hunted down people who were on the run, felony, people who committed, major crimes and were released by liberal judges on bail or bond, and then they revoked the bail and bond by not showing back up. In other words, they're releasing felons on bail, and these felons don't come back, right? If I go to another home of someone that is not connected to this felon that I'm looking for, I do a background check on everybody that resides in that home because I want to know the criminal history of everyone in that home. So don't you think it would be smart for these DCYF workers to do, before they go and do unannounced visits, to check the residents through the police department and see who is a felon or who is a criminal that's residing in those residents? Because if they had that information, they would have said to themselves, I am now receiving information that Harmony got bumped and bruised by horseplay with her siblings by felons, by criminals. Now, again, I'm not saying that they're going to always tell you lies, but it's going to raise your suspicion and it's going to make you do a little bit more of checks and balances. And instead of just closing a report out, you do a back check and you come back and you check in another 2 weeks. Because we're talking about little kids. We're not talking about adults that can fend for themselves. You're talking about little kids that might be afraid to tell you, mommy and daddy are treating me bad, because they're worried about when you leave that they're going to get treated even worse. I mean, these little kids, and they know the deal. They know what's going on, but they're afraid. Let's let the rest of this play.
DCYF spoke with Adam, he said he had sent Harmony to live with her mother, Crystal Story, spoke with Adam's siblings. In January, they were told a black eye on Harmony's face had resulted from playing with her siblings. In January of 2020, when DCYF spoke with Adam, he said he had sent Harmony to live with her mother, Crystal Story, in Massachusetts. A caseworker called Crystal to verify, but didn't hear back and didn't try to call her again. It wasn't until September of 2021 that a close contact of Crystal reached out to New Hampshire, saying Crystal hadn't seen her daughter in over a year. DCYF started looking for Adam and the family, but couldn't find them, and learned that Harmony had never been registered for school in Manchester.
But now, why did they just give up at that point? If all of these indicators were there, why? Why wouldn't you continue to delve further? Why would you close a report when you have all of this? I mean, this is, of course, this is what they're revealing in their review, right? And the governor's review asked for review. The governor made the request for this review after he stumbled on himself and saying, "I played it 100 million times for you guys." He said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with DCYF. Matter of fact, we're in better shape than we've ever been." Remember that? Does everybody remember that?
Manchester police joined the search, but no luck. It was late December 20. Crystal reached out to New Hampshire, saying Crystal hadn't seen her daughter in over a year. DCYF started looking for Adam and the family, but couldn't find them, and learned that Harmony had never been registered for school in Manchester. Manchester police joined the search, but no luck. It was late December 2021 when authorities finally tracked Adam down, and he had, quote, unconvincing explanations.
That's when they found him living out of his car. This is the part that started the whole Manchester police and coming out and having it exposed into the media. when they stopped him December 31st on, questioning him about where Harmony is. So the whole thing blew up at this point right here. I'm going to get to the comments in a second, so just give me a minute, guys. Just let me finish this.
December 2021, when authorities finally tracked Adam down and he had, quote, unconvincing explanations regarding Harmony's whereabouts. That's when police went public that the child was missing. The report is also making recommendations so other children won't share the same fate. Communication between states needs to be modernized. Antiquated case management needs to be updated to a user-friendly system. Caseloads need to remain as low as possible. And more needs to be done to confirm that children are in the homes where they're supposed to be.
A little bit late for that, right? Modernized communication between states, interstate information, and that's where NCIC comes into play. The National Crime Computer it gives everything. It gives everything up. And caseworkers, DCYF, they have to request criminal records from police departments. And I had a New Hampshire retired DCYF worker who wouldn't come on with me, and I understand why she wouldn't come on, but she had a 5-hour conversation with Heather, who we had on the other night. She basically told me, Ron, when I used to call police departments in New Hampshire, it was like I was pissing them off that they had to do extra work to run people's names that I was investigating. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen at all. Having a police department All right, I'm back. I don't know what the hell just happened. I think my Wi-Fi just kind of surged. So again, the information exchange should not be a hassle, and it should be to the point where these state and local child protective services should have access through a supervisor. It probably shouldn't be accessed just to all the caseworkers. It should be accessed through supervisor approval, where they can go and do a criminal background check on the people who they're investigating. And the exchange of information is one of the reasons why you have the loss of life to these children. So I think that everyone should be on the same page. And in my eyes, I said that body cam cameras should be worn by these social workers and caseworkers, investigators that go out, so it can protect families against false allegations. It could protect the social workers and the investigators of false allegations by the parents. It protects everybody. It shows the judge, when you go to family court, what the actual caseworker saw, and I agree. I'm going to go back to some of these comments because you guys are putting in some great comments. Again, these databases, the things that we have available to us as law enforcement, should be availed to the people who are taxed with keeping our children safe. It's not just about overworked and underpaid social workers. It's the big grand scheme of things. It's the whole picture from the top to the bottom. Updating their case management system. That's internal stuff that they can fix. The lower caseloads. We know that lower caseloads. But what about a conversation about letting these social workers and these investigators spend as much time as they need to figure out what's going on? If it takes 12 hours, if it takes 5 hours, if it takes 2 hours, they need to be able to do what they can. Betty says, I believe police need to be doing criminal investigations and then give a referral to DCS. Right now it's backwards. It goes DCS then to police. How do you feel about that? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about that right now. I think that, you know, again, police stations across America, police precincts should have a DCYF type annex attached right in the precinct. You know, in New York City, we have domestic violence officers in every precinct. And every one of our precincts, and I know it's not like this all across America, they have extra space. You don't need a huge complex. You need 2 offices or 1 big office where you have 5 social workers and a supervisor in there, or whatever the numbers, whatever they need for that particular jurisdiction. But every police station should have child protective services inside the station house. The body cams are something that would be tremendous, because it would eliminate the he said, she said. It would eliminate people saying that DCYF is coming after me and taking my kids away from me unlawfully. It will show what they do and keep them accountable. Just like if police kill somebody and it's not justifiable, you're now seeing police go to jail. Make these DCYF workers, the social workers, the case workers, make them responsible for the actions they take. And I guarantee that the system would tighten up. If they knew, if judges knew, or even judges, I don't believe that a judge here in Suffolk County and Nassau County can tell little baby Thomas Valva's mother, Justina Zupko Valva, to shut up when she's begging and pleading with them to save her children, and one of her sons winds up getting murdered. And that's on record. That's on the record that he told her, shut up. You shouldn't be able to get away with that, you know? So, I mean, this stuff really frustrates me. It frustrates me to no end. Ryan Investigative Group, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you, Billy Ryan. Today is the 29th anniversary of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. And Bill Ryan, he responded to that call. And I thank you, Billy, for that. It's 29 years. I can't believe that much time has gone by. Hi, Fiber Floozies Crafts. Jill, good to see you. If they had a department connected at the precinct, that would have to have access to access to case files. They would be running within their own departments. They would have nothing to do with the police department, but they would be able to have access to certain bits of information. And if you have the resources, assign 1 cop to DCYF to work with them, being embedded with them. You know, those are ideas that I don't see in this report. And I'm going to queue up the rest of the report. Well, let's let the rest of this play, and then we'll move on, because I only have limited time today.
To remain as low as possible, and more needs to be done to confirm that children are in the homes where they're supporting Harmony's whereabouts. That's when police went public that the child was missing. The report is also making recommendations so other children won't share the same fate. Communication between states needs to be modernized. Antiquated case management needs to be updated to a user-friendly system. Caseloads need to remain as low as possible, and more needs to be done to confirm that children are in the homes where they're supposed to be. So while the report does reveal some new details about the case, key questions remain. What happened to Harmony, and where could she be? The report does not shed any new light on her possible whereabouts.
Now, this report would not shed new lights on her whereabouts, because it's now an investigation with the police, right? The police are now taxed with figuring out what happened to Harmony and who screwed up. So that's a whole nother obstacle that we have to get through. And with Adam in jail and invoking his Fifth Amendment right, it's kind of making it difficult, right? It's making it difficult all around because he's not speaking out. Let me pull up the new 7-page document, and I'm only going to go to the end of these documents. Listen, guys, real conversations have to be had, and this is my point: is these political entities are just all about covering CYA. Cover your own ass, you know, cover your ass. And that's what they're doing here. This report that we're seeing, this comprehensive report, is about CYA. You know, for me, it's just hogwash. I want to see actions. I don't want to see you force feeding me documents that you're not going to act on. You know, these documents mean guts if you're not going to act on them. Let's take a peek at some of these. Hold on a second. What do I want to do? Oh, I want to make this bigger. Hey, let me know on the screen if you guys can see this good. Do I have to make it bigger? For those of you in the back, is that legible for you all, you guys? Tracy, thank you for being here. Tracy was on or tried to get on with us the other night. That's Roar for AJ. AJ friend. She's actively involved in his case. Let me say thank you to some of these super chatters coming on. Hi, Jill. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Denisha, thank you for being here. Fiber Floozy, Angela, Betty, Pippadot, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hi, Earth Angel. You know, again, actions speak louder than words, and I'm sick of being force-fed a whole bunch of bullshit. And really, when it comes down to it, it's these children that are suffering. Okay, so this came out yesterday, the 25th. Can you guys see it good? I just want to make sure. I can make it bigger. Let me make it just a little bit bigger because, you know, there's going to be some people that say, I can't see it, DutyRon. All right, how's that? I think that's the best I could do without it, without the degradation of the typing. Can everybody see it? So this is basically what the news report just went over, and they're talking about, you know, the assessments and everything that happened leading up to. But I want to get to the part where they talk about the changes, right? Recommendations for a system. All right, so at this point here in this last paragraph, we're right above recommendations for system improvements. It just tells you about what we all know already about the fraud, the welfare fraud, and all of that stuff. All right, recommendations for system improvements, increased cross-border communications and collaborations. And what that means is Massachusetts talking to New Hampshire, New Hampshire talking to Massachusetts. We already know that. The ICPC was passed in 1965. It's way out of date, and it should have been updated. My patrol guide in the New York City Police Department gets updated on every incident where we drop the ball or improvement needs to be had. When I graduated the police academy in 1996, our patrol guide, the patrol manual, was like 10 inches in thickness of pages. When I retired after 22 years, that same 10 inches of thickness was quadrupled. So thank you for becoming a member, Leanne Crawford. Thank you. And Emily, thank you for the $10 super chat. She says, we need a national database of child and family service cases. I think transparency is important. Okay, so here they're talking about New Hampshire should pass a new ICPC. 2 New Hampshire senators are supporting such legislation. Now here, again, where my cursor is more of this political hogwash. This is something they're putting on paper, but if we don't hold them accountable to change, they won't change it. Because we heard 5 years ago the same bullshit report. This is the same stuff. Yeah. It's almost 60 years old, 1965. It's coming up on 57 years old. This could be accomplished. This legislation sessions amending the SB 397 in New Hampshire House of Representatives. This is just all political mumbo jumbo and hogwash. Preliminary conversations to explore this have begun through the New England Child Welfare Commission and Directors Association. Well, this preliminary conversation is coming on the back of Harmony Montgomery and many other kids that have died within the state of New Hampshire, and many other kids outside of New Hampshire that continue to be failed. Here in New York, Thomas Valva, AJ, Summer Wells, Sincere and Classic, Orrin and Orson West. The list goes on and on. Serenity McKinney. I could just keep going. Our little boy, a little angel in Idaho, little Michael, monkey, failed. I mean, there's just so many. I could just rattle them off all day long. Strengthen processes to help ensure safety of children who moved out of the household. When reviewing critical incidents, caution must be exercised to ensure that hindsight bias does not influence our understanding of what individuals reasonably understood in real time. Again, this whole sentence and paragraph is just, trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken system. They don't talk about supervisors pushing caseworkers to close caseloads. Let me put myself back on because I'm getting pissed off again. What about, Tracy Oakley Carson's? Yeah, and it's sick. It's crazy and sick. What about supervisors forcing people to close cases at an alarming rate? We saw on Thursday night's live stream, I played from 2017, and by a show of hands, who saw that 2017 review that I showed where they closed 1,700 cases in 2 days? Infamous Truth Teller, thank you for the $20 super chat. There's so many breaks in the system, and there's caseworkers that are not properly trained because the turnover rate. That report does not mention anything about this. It talks about more training, but it doesn't talk about the turnover rates and the pay rate. I think it does talk about pay rate. Checks and balances, accountability, body cam footage. I don't hear and see any of that conversation. I don't hear or see any little bit of that conversation. If they really cared, if the governor and the director of DCYF in New Hampshire really cared, they would say, guess what? We f***ed up. We f***ed up really bad, and we want to make it better. But they're defending. I showed you guys in no uncertain terms, and the outright buffoonery, the jagaloonish behavior of both governors from New Hampshire and Massachusetts going like this. They pointed the finger at each other. And guess what? Those are elected officials. We put them in office, not us per se, but the people in the state of New Hampshire voted for it, and Massachusetts voted for these freaking clowns. And now when little kids just poof, disappear or are unaccounted for, listen, I'm not putting 100,000,000% blame on the system, because the families who gave birth to these kids are ultimately the ones to blame. The people who birthed these kids, the mother, the father, the extended family. I'm not a grandparent yet, right? But if my kids had kids, and when I'm speaking from a normal household that's not on drugs, that's not, everybody has their problems, right? But I'm talking about normal, sensible people here. If my sons had children and they were estranged from their significant other and the family was broken up, I would still want to see my grandchildren. I want to see their faces at Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, and weekly updates, and just want to see them and say hello to them and tell them that I love them. In these cases, there's a common denominator in Serenity and in Harmony's case, where there was breakdowns of who goes months and months and months and months and months without seeing or hearing. And if that in fact happened, why weren't they freaking calling the police and demanding a welfare check? Why? Those are questions that I ask as a detective. Those are the things that make you go, what's up? So we can't 100,000,000% put the blame on the state and the system. We can agree, and I'm shouting it from the rooftops, that the system's broke. It's been broke I have experienced it for over 30 years. My experience with the system, hands-on as a law enforcement professional, has spanned from 1991 until current day now. Infamous Truth Teller says you're absolutely correct. Like the assessments you're looking at, I have one from Arizona. If you'd like me to send it to you, and and your email, just able to look, because I have the kids 900 pages. I'm an assessment. I'm an assessment for Arizona DCS. Go over to DutyRon.com and send me your email, or just, I don't think you could send it on DutyRon.com, but message me on DutyRon.com, infamous truth teller, and I'd like to get in touch with you and talk to you. Absolutely. So again, we know we have to hold these folks accountable for their failures, right? But it's not just the mother and father that gave birth to Harmony, the mother and father gave birth to Sincere and Classic in California, and all of these cases. It's the extended family, friends, and people that need to, and Heather brought it up. My retired caseworker from Florida, Heather, said, we need to keep the state away as much as possible from any family, because once they get involved, things go to shit. You don't want them involved. At all costs, do the best you can to work it out within your family. So here's some more of these suggestions. Emily, thank you so much. Hart family, 6 children murdered, parents hiding from CPS from state to state. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn, and any disrespect in the chat, just take it out. I want that immediately blocked. So if there's anything, go back, review it, get rid of it. If you want to be respectful and voice your opinion, you can. But I'll just tell you this right now. If you are disrespectful to any of my chatters or anybody, if my mods don't get it, I'm going to review it and I'll get rid of you and I'll block you. I don't care if you're a channel member. I don't care if you're a Patreon supporter. I don't tolerate it. If you're going to be disrespectful, get the hell out of here. Beat it, because this is not what this channel is all about. All right? So if you can't play nice, then get the fuck out of here. That's all I'll say. All right, let's show the rest of this. So they are making these steps that they want to do when reviewing critical incidents. Caution must be exercised, and hindsight bias does not influence the understanding of what the individuals reasonably understood in real time. They make these suggestions. New Hampshire should move quickly to replace the antiquated bridges case management system with a modern, user-friendly case management system. Now, this is just going to make it easier for them, and if that's the case, then that's good. Ensure that the new system includes the ability to easily see all history related to a child or a family, including information regarding ICPC requests, courtesy visits to families at the request of other states, and other information potentially received by DCYF outside of a formal assessment or a case, including genogram marker application to help staff easily visualize and understand the complex family structures. Funding was secured as an RFP has been issued, and the state is in negotiations with a potential vendor. They're talking about completing the system to complete that project. Add an assistant supervisor position to the Manchester district office. So this is just adding more supervision to double check and have checks and balances. And I can guarantee you they are going to step up their checks and balances going forward, but who's going to keep them accountable for it? So there needs to be transparency. There needs to be transparency here. The Manchester district office is one of the busiest offices in the state. Yes, it's an area that's very busy, high drugs, high crime, a lot of shit going on in Manchester. I've come to learn. High volume of assessments deemed at risk than other parts of the state. They have higher volume of assessments that are deemed high risk than other states because of the drug epidemic in the Manchester area and surroundings. Many of the frontline staff have less experience than in other parts of the state, which is ridiculous. You should put your most experienced and transfer people and put them around, or get people who have experience, rendering strong and frequent supervision being very important. Additional district office supervisor was added to the office last year focused specifically on assessment practice. This statement right here, I wish I can freaking highlight it. Oh, I can. All right, this is a cover my ass statement right here. Let me highlight this. Within section 2, subdivision B, all right, this is A and B. An additional district office supervisor was added to the office last year to focus specifically on assessment practice. Well, if that supervisor was added last year, he or she sucks because they let Harmony slip through, right? But this is another political way of covering their own ass and saying, well, we did do this. So human error is going to come into play here with poor Harmony. I hate to even read this stuff, man. 1 in 5 supervisor to staff ratio is considered appropriate to ensure that a supervisor has the time and the ability to understand and assist with every family on a CPSWS caseload. An additional supervisor will allow the office to achieve that ratio. Well, from what we heard, the supervisors do something really good. And what they do really good is force the caseworkers to close their cases quickly and to move on. I'm so fired up. I don't even want to read the rest of this because it's all bull crap, but it's towards the end. So if you guys want to bear with me, it's just number 3 and 4 that we'll go over. And again, 3 and 4 is just more bullshit. This doesn't do anything for me. This doesn't help me to feel better about New Hampshire. Continue. Here, I'll read 3 quickly. Continuing to work to ensure that the assessment caseload remains as low as possible to safeguard that staff have the time to thoroughly assess and understand a family situation and connect them with appropriate resources as needed. But they're not saying in the past, our supervisors and our practice was to force the caseworkers to rush through the casework and the caseload. See this comment right here, this number 3, continue to work to ensure that assessment caseloads remain as low as possible to safeguard that staff have the time to thoroughly assess and understand family situation and connect them with the appropriate sources needed. This is bullshit. They're not owning up to the reason why these caseworkers were rushing through the cases is because their own bosses were telling them to. Oh my, holy sure. Oh, my blood pressure is raising right now. Okay. Current assessment caseloads are 16 persons compared to 90 persons 5 years ago. So if the current is 16, the caseworkers can't handle 16 because they dropped the ball here. And how many more have they dropped the ball on where the kids survived but just got severely injured or abused? There are more assessed CPSWs than ever before. Nevertheless, recruitment and retention efforts must remain a priority to ensure our caseload goal is met and can be sustained for betterment of the children and their families. Increase the utilization of community-based volunteer services, which began serving families in March of 2021. Following a competitive procurement process by increasing referral volume and voluntary family enrollment. This is more garbage. Amend the DCYF policy to require confirmation of the residence of all children who are known to be members of a household, including one who is alleged to have moved from a family, in the event the new caregiver is unresponsive, and enlist the support of local law enforcement to complete the welfare check in order to ensure the welfare of the child. That's directly talking about when they tried to ask Adam where Harmony was, and he said Harmony's with her mom. We brought her the mom, and then they tried to reach out to the mom and left a voicemail. They left a voicemail, and Mrs. Surrey didn't get back to the police or the investigator, I mean, and they just left that. They didn't follow up. So you leave one voicemail, write in your report, voicemail left, nobody called back, and then it's case closed. No, how about wait till you get confirmation from the mother who Adam is saying he left the child with, and being aggressive. It's called being an aggressive investigator. Just like we have the online web detectives that do all of their investigating and looking into these cases. Why not? Why not be thorough right there? Why not hold these caseworkers accountable? And the supervisor who signed off on that should be reprimanded or fired, in my eyes. The judge who gave Adam custody of Harmony should be removed from the bench. Who's with me on that? I feel strongly about that. If I screwed up on that colossal level as a New York City police detective, I would have gotten either suspended or fired. We're talking about our kids, man. We're talking about our children here. There's no accountability. Put body cams on these people. Make them accountable. Let them know if you screw up and you do something that causes another person's death or disappearance, you're going to be held accountable. And I guarantee if that happens, yes, there'll be maybe less people that take the jobs, but the ones that take it, that are good and that are there for the good, will dot their I's and cross their T's, because nobody wants to go to jail. Make them be held accountable for the job that they raised their hand and said, I will uphold the laws of the Constitution of the United States, just as I did. When I became a New York City police officer, I had to swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the land of the city of New York. If I failed to do that, I would be held accountable. We see police officers nowadays, when they do something wrong, go to jail. Why not? Why isn't that for a judge? Why isn't that for the governor? Why isn't that for our elected officials? Why isn't it for the people who are held responsible for the well-being of our children? Think about it. It's not a popular thing to talk about, but I'm talking about it because I'm sick and tired of this. I'm just sick and tired of case after case after case after case where it points back to the family court systems and the people who make these decisions. They make those decisions because they're not held accountable for them. There you go, Betty. I agree. I'm on the same page, man. Make sure you share this video, like this video, give it a thumbs up. I don't know how many thumbs up we have on it at this point, but let's get that algorithm tickled and pumped up. I know this isn't a popular thing. YouTube will demonetize this, whatever. I don't give a shit. They can demonetize. And again, the language today is a little abrasive because I get so fired up for our kids. I get fired up for reasons that you should be getting fired up for. Again, this is about respect. It is about us having a conversation that most people choose not to have. I am mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. It's just sickening. I'm going to talk with criminal defense attorney Joe Murray and see what we can write up, get some kind of petition and do something, because we have to do something. I want to just talk a little bit about Summer Wells. Okay. I've been in contact, and I'm always in contact with Dave Rader from Equusearch, right? And I asked Dave just yesterday. I said, Dave, are we going to go back and search for Summer Wells? Have you heard from Hawkins County or the TBI or anybody about going back? So Dave is going to join me tonight, sometime later tonight. We're going to talk about that. So I'm hoping that you guys will tune in for a conversation about Summer Wells and searching. As far as, Don being locked up in jail and Candace acting like a fool, that's just par for the course. I expect that to happen. I don't follow it. I know of it. I know that it's happening because people send me messages and emails. I don't waste my time to look at that garbage because those moments I can't get back. They're wasted time. It's a waste of time. So I focus on search and recovery and finding where Summer Wells is and where some of these other children that are missing. Dave is working on a case in Ohio right now he's going to want to talk about. But I want to mention to you that right now, the fundraiser for Equusearch is still live for the rest of this day. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen quickly so you guys can see it. I'm gonna share it with y'all. That was a little bit of Southern coming out in me. I'm gonna share it with y'all. Let me fast forward it to the part where Dave's on with me. So there it is. So there's the fundraiser. Hold on, let me share it. So you're not seeing things. I'm wearing the same hat in the fundraiser video, but this is Dave, Ed, and I in the fundraiser we did 2 weeks ago. It's at $16,500. But I want to show you how you still can donate to it. Right up here in the top right where my mouse is, there's a donate button. Can you guys see that? Let me make it full screen. So we can get this thing past $16,520. On the right-hand side of the screen is the donate button. I encourage you guys to go over and donate here. If it's $5, $10, it's only live for the rest of today. But we raised $16,520 for Equusearch. I am god darn proud of you guys. I'm gosh darn proud of you. You guys went above and beyond. Let's listen to a little bit of this. It's Jen from Red, White, and Blue. We saw how important it was for people to volunteer, people who want to do something good. And like you, if you see something, you say something. You guys were right on it. And if it hadn't been for you, we saw Bill, the retired detective sergeant from the homicide squad, actually go to tears, because we know that if it wasn't the good that you did, it may have taken much longer to find Gabby. And this is all part of the whole humanity coming together and doing the right thing. So, hey, Kyle, how are you? Good to see you, Kyle. So this is my partner, Ed Wallace, crime scene retired detective. Jen, Kyle, I think Kyle's getting his earpieces in.
Welcome,
Hey,
Kyle.
guys.
The dynamic duel.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So I'm going to add Dave Rader back in. That's the director of Equusearch Midwest. Dave, there's Kyle and Jen from Red, White, and Bethune. You know,
Hi, Dave.
Jen, pleasure.
Yeah. I didn't have to tell you what they did. These guys are unbelievable people. But joining us, guys, I'm not going to keep them waiting. We have Nicole and Jim Schmidt as Gabby's mom and dad. I want to let them join in with us from Long Island. They're local residents. I live in Nassau. They live in Suffolk. Hey, guys, thank you for joining.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. So just so you guys know, that is Gabby Petito's mom and dad, Jim Schmidt and Nicole Schmidt. So they joined. I'm just going to play a few minutes of this so you guys can see it. I'm encouraging you guys to go over and get the donations up on the fundraiser if you can. If you can't, I understand, but I'm just going to play just a minute of this more.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. Jimmy's going to take care of that. No big deal. Welcome to my world. I have a parrot sitting here, 30-year-old parrot, and a dog upstairs. So,
well, the dog wants to get in. Bring him in. Thank you, Jim and Nicole, for joining us.
Yes. It's good to be here. I've been talking to Ron for a while now. He's an amazing guy. So I'm glad we could stop in and say hi to everybody. And it's really nice to meet you guys, Ed and Dave. Thank you for what you do. I mean, this is awesome. And pleasure, Jen, Nicole. I love you so much. I love you. I miss you. And hi, like Kyle.
Hello. Good to finally meet you.
I feel like we're on a family Zoom call. It's almost Jimmy, thank you for taking care of the dog. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. They were quiet for the last half hour before this, so of course it's only fitting that they got a little rambunctious there.
So really quickly off the bat, I want to say to Jim and Nicole, the heartfelt, sincere condolences from my Crime Time with DutyRon community. We're over 120,000 strong and growing. These people on YouTube, there's so many good that love and respect you guys. But I just want to say quickly that the way that you guys have handled yourselves with the media, as parents, crime victims, family, the way you have conducted yourselves is just nothing shy of impressive, and it's just unbelievable what I saw as a person standing by and watching. I'm a seasoned detective with the New York City Police Department. We've come into contact with so many crime victims and their families. The adversity that you guys faced and the way that you handled it, I want to just tip my cap to you guys and say it was just unbelievable. You guys are, you make Americans proud to be Americans. So
Thank you.
you guys,
Amen.
amazing
Couldn't have
people.
done it without all the support, though. I mean, it's
Right.
everybody's been amazing.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky to have the support network that we had, and that's one thing that we have noticed out there with just a little bit of getting involved in some of the other like missing persons cases that kind of come up our way. Not everybody is as fortunate as we are to have that large support network, and we're very grateful for everything that everybody did for us, continues to do for our family. It's just it's amazing.
That was so great to hear that, and I'll end it there. I just wanted to just encourage you guys to go on over and continue with the support for Equusearch, because Jim Schmidt goes on to say how impressed he was with the Teton search and rescue group, who were all volunteer based. He talks about that going forward. I don't want to bore you with playing this whole clip. You know, it's like 38 minutes that they were on with us, but go over and watch that. But while you're there, consider donating to Texas Equusearch, which is Midwest Equusearch. The things that Jim and Nicole said, especially Jim talked about the searchers. He was saying that how important it is for people to volunteer. And these are folks who are crime victims. They lost their daughter to murder. Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito. They are helping other people. They are reaching out. People are reaching out to them. They're reaching back out to other people, and they're helping people. So that is just an unbelievable thing. And I'm so honored that I'm friends with them, and that I made, the contact on behalf of Equusearch to help search for their daughter if it was needed, and it wasn't needed. They found her thanks to Jen and Kyle and the great search group out in the Tetons. So again, I do the donations and the bulletin board, the digital billboard for Sincere and Classic. That's our boys. Where are the boys? From Bakersfield, California, Orrin and Orson West. So it's coming up to the end of the month, and I'm not shameful to do this, man. I'm asking you guys to send donations to PayPal as well for the digital billboards. Become a member, become a subscriber. If you can donate, we need the fundage to pay that $1,000 every month for those billboards. I've been paying it for about 13, 14 months now, because we had it 2 months in Lancaster, California, and then we switched to Bakersfield on Highway 99. Help us continue to get their face and have their name out there. They need it. Summer Wells needs it. We need to find Harmony Montgomery. We need to find all the missing, no matter what, no matter who. We need to find them, and we need resources and help. So with that, I see that people have donated. The funds raised have gone up. So somebody's gone over and donated. Thank you for doing that for the Equusearch. I'll show it again. I'll show just a little bit of it, and then we'll wrap it up. So let me just play just a tad bit more of this for you guys.
Special.
You know, my big takeaway from interacting with you guys at your daughter's service and online with communication, my big takeaway was that you guys were just so humbled by all of the love that was coming out and the support. You didn't push it away. You didn't, like, I got to, and I wasn't even expecting it. I got to hug you. I got to hug Big Joe and even Nicole. I mean, and Tara. They were all, it was just, for me, just, I felt like I was around my family. That's how I felt. And I think the world, you know, your daughter has become the daughter of this world. You know, not just the United States. We all love her, and we love you guys. So I know that this was really tough. You know, the Christmas holidays just come by, and, you know, this is not easy. This is not an easy thing. But I knew with Jen here and with Dave Rader from Equusearch and us, we've been communicating so much that I feel like, you know, the bond that we have here through law enforcement. Jim, I know that you're in public service as well. I don't want to put your business out there, even though it probably is. You know, as a volunteer, and I saw the outpouring of, you know, all the volleys came in from all over Nassau and Suffolk, and it was just a great, you know, that's how a brotherhood is. This is what we do, you know. And when I reached out to you on Messenger on Facebook, you said you were with your friend who's like, I think, a retired or active cop. And I was like, thank God he's got somebody there with him from the job, you know, and I felt good about that. And, you know, Equusearch was ready. And that's what this charity live stream is about. You know, your Gabby Petito Foundation, you talked about wanting to help in the future. You know, you got a lot of things to think about and do with domestic violence, with the way alerts are put out for missing people, the lack thereof, and the NamUs system. There's so many good things in the name of your daughter that you're doing to just continue her legacy and to continue her memory in such a positive way. I'm just impressed with it. I don't even golf. I'm coming in April. I'm coming to hang out and drink and eat, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, search and rescue is very much of importance to us. You know, being in the business, he knows how important it is, and there needs to be more of it. So I do hope that people step up and volunteer. And I mean, it's something that I would do. I would get boots on the ground out there, and I would absolutely help somebody that's looking for a loved one.
We were in the beginning with Gabby. You know, when you're 2,500 miles away and you know, you work in the fire service for 20 plus years, and
here's where he talks about it
as long. And you know, you work closely with law enforcement over the years, and you know how things run around here, how things operate, how agencies work, and you gain a certain level of trust and confidence. And that was one of the biggest things in the beginning with her being so far away. You know, like, we didn't know what to expect when we went out to Wyoming. And so to have all the resources, you know, reaching out to us saying, hey, we're there for you to help you, you know, we're a phone call away. And when my friend Gary, who Gary I worked with in the firehouse with, and prior to that, he was a transit cop in New York City. And, you know, we got out there, and I'll tell you that the Jackson County Police Department, Teton County Sheriffs, those are some of the finest men and women I had the pleasure to meet, and extremely professional, well organized. The Teton County Search and Rescue Team, which is an all volunteer search and rescue organization out there under the
just like you guys.
Like you guys. They do unbelievable work out there, and it didn't take very long for us to gain confidence in their abilities and what they were doing. But just knowing we had all these other resources, you know, at our disposal was.
So there was Jim. This is live, guys. This is not a replay. This is me just playing part of the fundraiser that we did with Jim and Nicole Schmidt, Gabby Petito's parents. Jim just said right there, the knowing that he had all volunteer resources, just like Equusearch, available to him to search for his daughter was comforting. He knew right away that they were professional, just like Equusearch is. And that, I'm just making this example to show you guys how an organization like Equusearch, what they mean to families who have loved ones that are missing. They mean the world to these people, and that's the reason why I played this, so you guys can see and hear straight from the victim's family. You heard them say how invaluable the search and rescue in the Tetons were, and how comforting it was that he knew he had backup, which backup was from Equusearch. All right, guys, I want to wish you a great weekend. A lot of love and respect from my house to yours. I want to say thank you to everybody who is here, all of you folks who donated, all the public and all the people who donated during and after to this charity fundraiser. I know that we'll gain a little bit more traction on the fundraiser. I hope to get it up past 17,000. It's at 16,500 right now. Consider going over there. I will link it down below in the description. Lazy Bee Mama. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, Alicia, for being here. I'm not sure. I got to get with Dave. So I fly by the seat of my pants. Bullhorn Betty, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Thank you for thanking me. I thank everybody for the efforts that they bring in all of these cases. You as subscribers and channel members, you're an intricate part of making this a great place to be, a positive place to be. Your actions and your efforts do not go unnoticed, and I thank you. I have my Gabby Petito wristband. I have one of my Equusearch ones. I had to take it off. Where did it go? Hold on. I got a whole bunch of them. I got about 50 of these left, and I still have them for sale on the website. So if you want to buy and support Equusearch Midwest, go on over to my website, and you can purchase one of these. Lost is Not Alone, and it says Equusearch Midwest. So, and this is my Gabby Petito Foundation. You saw Nicole was wearing this. Hi, Princess Michelle. Great to see you. I got to put this on. All right, there we go. I'm good now. Thank you so much to everybody for being here. I appreciate you listening to my rants. And listen, just understand this. We all are human beings, and we all get passionate, and we all get angry about things. And sometimes we say things that we regret. You know, like I'm not a big cursor when I'm on live. I do curse in person, but when I'm on these live streams, I try to keep it clean. I try to keep it family PG-13-ish. And I don't like to curse a lot. So on this one, I did a little bit. So again, for those of you who are, don't like to hear that, again, accept my apologies, but I'm not going to change anything the way I operate. I love labs. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. DutyRon's website is awesome. Is it? I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Pete Pranzo and the boss and everybody else. Lourdes is here. Betty Smith, Nikki, Matty Boy Sully, Jolene. Love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. I'll try to schedule the live for tonight when I find out from Dave when he's available. Hodge the Brute. I love that name. Thank you. You're just human, so you're good. By a show of hands here, who got the concept of what I was trying to put out here today? And the concept of what I was trying to put out, for those of you who weren't here, is that we need action, not conversation. We need to be fed a narrative of hogwash. We don't need jagaloonish behavior going on. We need action. We need to protect our children. We need people to act and change things. Change it now and enforce what you're changing and make us feel better about what you're doing, because we want to support you. We always want to support good people, good cops, good doctors, good lawyers, good dentists, good mechanics, anybody that's doing good. We want to help support them. But if you're being a jagaloon and you're being toxic and you're not being accountable for what you're doing, thank you, coffee bar lady. If you're not accountable for what you're doing and you just talk shit to us, then we're not going to stand by. Mary Flynn, much love and respect to you. All right, guys, as I like to end all of these, I have to make mention that we have the Ukraine being invaded by Russia. There's war going on. It's a dangerous, volatile road that what's happening right now. We can talk politics all day long on this, but I'm not going to do it here. I want to pray for all the troops that are over there from America and from all of the NATO countries and all of the folks inside the Ukraine. I want to say prayers. I want to wish safety. And I know war, people die in war, and it's dangerous. So let's say a prayer quickly for all of our service members across the globe, not just the United States, but all of our service members that are serving. Let's wish them safety and get them home to their families. It's dangerous. It's a very, very, very dangerous road that we're going down, and I'm hoping for the best. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it peaceful. Guys, love and respect from DutyRon. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially all victims of crime and their families across the globe. We give them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. Peace. Peace from Crime Time with DutyRon, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.